The rain-slicked streets of Chicago blurred past as Alex's cab sped toward O'Hare, his heart pounding like a war drum in his chest. He was supposed to be saying "I do" right now, under the stained glass arches of his family's cathedral. But the sight of that Alpha at the altar, tall, commanding, with eyes that pierced straight through his soul, had shattered everything. 5 years vanished in an instant, dragging him back to sun-drenched California beaches where whispered promises had once tasted like forever. Alex slumped against the worn leather seat, his fingers trembling as he clutched the crumpled invitation. Dr. Alexander Hale, rising star in emergency medicine, reduced to a fugitive in a rented tuxedo. The arranged marriage was his parents' desperate bid to secure the Hale legacy in the cutthroat world of pharmaceutical empires, pairing him, the brilliant Omega son, with a powerful Alpha from a rival dynasty. But Jordan. God, Jordan. The name alone ignited a fire in his veins, a mix of fury and aching need. How could fate be so vicious, dangling his lost love like a cruel mirage just when he'd clawed his way to numbness? He boarded the red-eye to New York, the city's jagged skyline a promise of anonymity amid millions. By dawn, Alex was shedding his old life like snakeskin, checking into a cramped Brooklyn walk-up that smelled of fresh paint and possibility. The hospital orientation packet crinkled in his bag, Mount Sinai, where his skills could finally breathe without the shadow of family expectations. No more late-night board meetings disguised as support for his career. No more sidelong glances from colleagues who whispered about the eligible Omega dodging packs of suitors. Here, he could be just Alex, the doctor who stitched wounds and silenced screams. But the first shift hit like a freight train. The ER buzzed with the usual chaos. A construction worker with a mangled hand. A teen overdosing on street pills. Sirens wailing like banshees outside. Alex moved on autopilot, his scrub stained with iodine and sweat, barking orders to interns who jumped at his clipped tone. "Page cardio, stat," he snapped at a wide-eyed resident fumbling chart. Precision was his armor, emotion, a luxury he'd buried deep. It was past midnight when the ambulance doors burst open, flooding the bay with the metallic tang of blood and rain. Male, 32, GSW to the abdomen, Alpha, presenting with low BP and erratic vitals, the paramedic shouted, wheeling in the gurney. Alex's world tilted as he leaned over the patient, gloved hands probing the entry wound. Broad shoulders strained against a torn dress shirt, dark hair matted with sweat, and that scent, earthy pine and storm-tossed ocean, slammed into him like a tidal wave. Jordan. His breath caught, scalpel hovering mid-incision. Those green eyes fluttered open, locking onto his with a haze of pain and disbelief. Alex, the word was a rasp, barely audible over the monitor's frantic beeps. Time fractured. Memories flooded, stolen kisses in a Santa Cruz dorm room. Jordan's calloused hands tracing the curve of his back under starlit sheets. The raw vulnerability of an Alpha baring his neck to an Omega who made him feel human. Then the betrayal, or what felt like it, when Jordan's family uprooted him across the country, severing ties with surgical precision. Letters unanswered, calls to deadlines. Alex had shattered, pouring his grief into med school, vowing never to let an Alpha close again. "Stay with me," Alex murmured, voice cracking as he clamped the bleeder. His team swarmed, oblivious to the earthquake in his chest. Jordan's hand twitched toward him, fingers brushing his wrist in a ghost of possession. The touch seared, stirring heat low in Alex's belly. That treacherous omega, pull heat suppressed with suppressants and sheer will. But Jordan was fading, eyelids drooping, and panic clawed up Alex's throat. Intubate now. We're losing him. Alex's command sliced the air, steadying his resolve. He wouldn't lose him twice, not like this. As the anesthesiologist worked, Alex's mind raced. Why Chicago? Why now? The gunshot suggested trouble far beyond a random mugging. Jordan's suit screamed high-stakes dealings, the kind that painted targets on backs. By the time they wheeled him to surgery, Alex's scrubs clung cold to his skin, soaked not just from a case, but from the storm raging inside. Hours later, scrubbed out and hollowed, Alex slumped in the break room, nursing black coffee that tasted like ash. The door creaked open, and his best friend, Nurse Mia, a fierce beta with a no-nonsense bob, dropped into the chair opposite. You look like hell. Hail. That GSW patient? Your hands were shaking. Personal. Alex met her gaze, the weight of secrets pressing down. Mia had been his anchor since orientation, the one who dragged him to dive bars and coaxed out smiles with her brutal honesty. Old ghost, he admitted, voice low. From before. Everything. She arched a brow, stirring sugar into her mug. The kind that shoots first and asks questions later? Spill. Or, I'll hack your phone. A ghost of a laugh escaped him. His name's Jordan. We were. Something. Back in college. Then he vanished. And today, he's bleeding out on my table because some asshole put a bullet in him. The words tumbled free, laced with the bitterness he'd marinated in for years. Mia's eyes softened. No judgment, just the quiet solidarity of someone who'd patched her own heart fractures. World's too small, she said finally. You gonna face it, or let it haunt you from the shadows? Face it. The challenge echoed as Alex stared at the flickering fluorescence. Jordan was stable, for now, in recovery, tubes snaking from his arms, monitors whispering his fragile hold on life. Alex shouldn't go. Professional boundaries, emotional minefields. But his feet carried him down the dim corridor anyway, drawn by that invisible thread alphas and omegas shared, the one that defied logic and reason. The room was hushed, moonlight slanting through blinds to silver Jordan's profile. He looked younger in sleep. The hard lines of command softened, vulnerability etching his features. Alex sank into the visitor's chair, exhaustion pulling at him like gravity. What the hell happened to you? He whispered to the silence. Jordan's scent lingered, wrapping around him, stirring dormant instincts. His body responded traitorously, a flush creeping up his neck, heat pooling despite the chill air. A low groan pulled him back. Jordan's eyes cracked open, focusing with predatory clarity even through the haze of morphine. You're real, he murmured, voice gravel rough. Thought I hallucinated you. The wedding. Your wedding. Alex's pulse thundered. You were there. At the altar. My parents' idea of a perfect match, securing alliances, burying scandals. I ran because seeing you rip me open, the confession hung heavy, raw edges exposed. Jordan shifted, wincing, but his gaze never wavered, intense and unyielding. Alex, I never stopped. A cough cut him off, and Alex was on his feet, adjusting the foredrip with practice calm. Their hands brushed again, and electricity crackled, scents mingling in a heady cocktail that made Alex's knees weak. Jordan's alpha presence filled the room, commanding yet tender, pulling at the omega core of him like a tide. "Save it," Alex said, but his voice lacked conviction. "You're shot. Probably mixed up in whatever corporate war your family's always fighting." "I can't." "We can't." Jordan's fingers closed around his wrist, grip firm but not bruising. "I came back for you. After all this time, I came back." The words landed like shrapnel, embedding deep. Alex pulled away, heart fracturing anew, and fled the room before the tears could fall. Outside, the city hummed indifferent, but inside, the past clawed free, demanding reckoning. Dawn broke gray and unforgiving, painting the skyline in muted strokes as Alex dragged himself home. His apartment, a narrow railroad flat with exposed brick and a view of fire escapes, felt more like a cage than sanctuary. He stripped off his scrubs, the fabric whispering secrets of the night, and collapsed onto the unmade bed. Sleep came fitful, haunted by dreams of Jordan's laugh echoing across Pacific waves, their bodies entwined in the salty spray, promises sealed with salt-kissed lips. By noon, his phone buzzed relentlessly, voicemails from his mother. Her voice a velvet blade. "Alexander, this tantrum ends now. The Kents are furious. Jordan's a catch. And you threw it away like trash. Then Mia, gum and ID'd, some low-level enforcer for Hale rivals. Your boy's in deeper shit than we thought." Alex deleted them all, but the knot in his gut tightened. The Hales and Kents had built empires on pills and power. Alphas and Omegas bartered like stocks. His flight had ignited a fuse. Staying hidden meant safety. But Jordan's pull was a siren's song, luring him toward jagged rocks. He returned to the hospital for his afternoon shift, steeling himself against the recovery ward's pull. Charts demanded attention, a pediatric case with unexplained fevers, a consult on a beta's allergic reaction, but his focus splintered, ears straining for news. Around 4, the charge nurse flagged him down. "Your GSW patient's asking for you." "Doc." "Says it's personal." Alex's stomach flipped. He found Jordan propped up, color returning to his cheeks. That damn suit jacket draped over the chair like a discarded skin. "You look like you need coffee," Jordan said, the corner of his mouth quirking in that old, disarming way. Alex crossed his arms, leaning against the doorframe, a barrier as thin as resolve. "Boundary violation," he replied, but stepped inside anyway. The room shrank, air thickening with their mingled scents, Alex's clean citrus undercut by stress sweat, Jordan's wood smoke deepening to something primal. "Who shot you? And don't bullshit me." Jordan's eyes darkened, the alpha in him rising like a gathering storm. "Kent family business. Merger gone south, rival pack sniffing around our patents. I was meeting a contact in the loop when it went bad." He paused, searching Alex's face. "But that's not why I'm here." "Not really. Your parents reached out months ago, floating the match. I said yes because it was you." The admission hung, a grenade with the pin pulled. Alex's breath hitched, memories surging, Jordan's graduation speech, voice steady as he vowed to fight his father's shadow for a life with him. Then the call, Jordan's voice breaking over the line. "They found out about us." "I'm sorry." Alex, I have to go. Silence after that. A void that swallowed Alex whole. You left, Alex accused. Voice raw. Ghosted me like I was nothing. I waited. Jordan. Through exams. Residencies. Every goddamn rejection because no one measured up. Tears pricked. Hot and unwelcome. Jordan reached out, but Alex dodged. The distance a chasm bridged only by aching want. I was protecting you, Jordan whispered, anguish carving lines deeper. My father's threats, disownment. Worse. He had dirt on your family, leverage to crush them. I thought distance would keep you safe, let you build without my chaos. His hand fell limp, but his eyes burned. Seeing you at the altar, it broke me. You're everything I lost. The confession cracked Alex's walls. Omega instincts surging to soothe, to claim, to heal. He sank onto the bed's edge, their knees brushing, sparks igniting. I fled because I couldn't marry a stranger when my heart's still branded with you. The words escaped, a dam bursting. Jordan's hand cupped his cheek, thumb tracing his jaw, and Alex leaned in, helpless against the tide. Their lips met tentative, then fierce, a collision of 5 years' hunger. Jordan tasted of salt and regret, his alpha rumble vibrating through Alex's core, heat blooming like wildfire. Hands roamed, memorizing curves and scars, breaths mingling in desperate gasps. But the door swung open, Mia, clipboard in hand, snapping them apart like guilty teens. Doc, conference room. Now. Chief's got questions about the shooting. Her eyes flicked between them, sharp as scalpels, but she winked before vanishing. Alex stood, flushed and disheveled, reality crashing back. We can't, he said, though his body screamed otherwise. Jordan nodded, jaw tight, but pulled a card from his wallet, sleek, embossed with Kent Enterprises. Dinner. Tomorrow. Let me prove I'm not running again. Alex pocketed it, the paper burning like a vow. As he walked away, the hospital's hum faded, replaced by the thunder of his pulse. New York had promised reinvention, but Jordan's return was a reckoning, pulling him into depths where love and danger danced a lethal tango. The next evening, Alex stood before his mirror, fingers fumbling a tie he'd yanked from the back of his closet, a relic from med school interviews. Slim and navy, a nod to normalcy. His reflection stared back, hollow-cheeked, eyes shadowed by a night of tossing in sheets that smelled faintly of hospital antiseptic. Dinner with Jordan. The invitation had lingered in his mind all shift, a siren amid the ER's grind, stitching a bar fight victim's brow, stabilizing a heart attack in a cabbie who cursed in 3 languages. Work was his refuge, but Jordan's card burned a hole in his pocket, its weight a reminder that some wounds demanded more than sutures. He chose a button-down in soft gray, sleeves rolled to elbows, paired with dark jeans that hugged his lean frame, casual enough to deny the hope flickering in his chest, professional enough to armor his heart. The restaurant Jordan picked was in the Village, a tucked-away bistro with exposed beams and candlelit tables, the kind of place where secrets unfolded over wine. Alex arrived early, nerve jangling like loose change, and claimed a corner booth. The menu blurred under his gaze. Appetite had fled hours ago, chased by what-ifs. Jordan appeared at 7 sharp, striding through the door like he owned the shadows. Bandages peeked from his collar, But he moved with that alpha grace, shoulders squared, stride purposeful, dressed in a charcoal Henley that clung to his chest. Jeans faded just right. His scent hit first, wrapping Alex in warmth, and those green eyes locked on, stripping away pretense. "You came," Jordan said, sliding into the seat opposite, voice low and laced with relief. Curiosity, Alex lit, though his flush betrayed him. A waiter materialized, beta, efficient, pouring Merlot that gleamed like rubies. They ordered seared scallops for Alex, steak for Jordan. The choice is a subconscious echo of tastes shared in youth. Conversation started halting. Skirting the edges, Alex's move to New York. Jordan's climb through Kent ranks, but the undercurrent pulled stronger, scents thickening the air until words felt superfluous. "Tell me about the lost years," Jordan prompted, leaning forward, elbows on the scarred oak table. His fingers drummed a subtle rhythm, betraying the calm facade. Alex sipped his wine, the tartness grounding him, and let the dam crack wider. "Med school was hell," he began, voice steady. "Drowning in textbooks, suppressing heats alone in dorms because trusting an alpha felt like suicide." The admission hung, vulnerable, and Jordan's jaw tightened, guilt etching deep. "But I made it top of my class. Publications, the works. Thought success would fill the hole you left." A bitter laugh escaped. It didn't. Every patient, every code blew. "I wondered if you'd face something worse." Jordan's hand crossed the table, covering Alex's callous palm warm. "Anchoring. I watch from afar. Anonymous donations to your alma mater scholarship fund. Hacked alerts for your journal articles." His thumb stroked Alex's knuckles, sending shivers racing. "You shone, Alex. Brighter than I deserved." The scallops arrived, steam rising like ghosts, but eating felt secondary to the unraveling. Jordan spoke then, voice dropping to confessions timbre, the forced exile to Boston, apprenticing under a tyrannical uncle who beat legacy into him with fists and ultimatums. He found the letters I'd hidden, yours, folded in my wallet. Said I disgraced the pack, loving an omega from a weaker line. Pain flickered, raw. I broke contact to shield you, but it gutted me. Nights in boardrooms, closing deals that tasted like ash, all while dreaming of your laugh. Alex's chest ached, omega instincts keening to comfort, to nest in the shelter of that broad frame. "My family wasn't better," he countered, pushing suppressants from puberty, grooming me for alliances. "The arranged thing? Their Hail Mary after a patent leak nearly bankrupted us." He squeezed Jordan's hand, the contact a lifeline. "Running from you, from us, felt like dying slow." Dessert came unbidden, tiramisu, shared with 2 spoons, the bitterness yielding to cream-sweet indulgence. Laughter bubbled up, tentative at first, then free, reminiscing over that disastrous road trip to Yosemite. Jordan's truck stuck in mud, their first real fight dissolving into mud-smeared kisses. The bistro faded. Patrons' murmurs a distant hum, until it was just them, cocooned in candlelight and possibility. Outside, the village thrummed, street musicians plucking guitars, couples weaving arm in arm under strung lights. Jordan hailed no cab. Instead, he drew Alex close, coat collar brushing his ear. "Walk with me." The question was soft, but the alpha command thrummed beneath, and Alex nodded, falling into step. Cobblestones uneven underfoot, their shoulders bumped, sparks flying with each contact. They wandered to Washington Square, the arch looming like a sentinel. Park benches empty save for the occasional jogger. Jordan stopped by the fountain, water gurgling a lullaby, and turned to him, eyes reflecting the moon's silver. I meant what I said in the hospital. No more running. Marry me, not for packs or patents, but for this. His hand pressed over Alex's heart, feeling its wild gallop. Tears stung, unbidden. It's not that simple. Your world's violence, mine's precision. What if? But Jordan silenced him with a kiss, deep and claiming, alpha essence flooding Alex's senses, heat coiling low and insistent. They broke apart breathless, foreheads touching, the world narrowing to shared air. Then we fight for it, Jordan vowed, voice fierce. Together, Alex melted into him. They embrace a harbor after storm-tossed years. But as they lingered, a shadow detached from the trees, a figure in dark hoodie, eyes glinting with malice. Jordan tensed, shoving Alex behind him, alpha protectiveness surging. Get back, he growled, but the man lunged, knife flashing. Chaos erupted, Jordan grappling, Alex shouting for help, the park's serenity shattering. The assailant fled into the night, but not before slashing Jordan's arm, blood blooming dark on his sleeve. Sirens wailed distant, and Alex dropped to his knees, pressing his scarf to the wound, hands steady despite the terror clawing his throat. Not again, he whispered, voice breaking as Jordan winced but pulled him close. I won't lose you again. In that moment, amid the flashing lights and gathering crowd, Alex knew love wasn't a fairy tale, but a battlefield. And for Jordan, he'd wield his scalpel like a sword. Adrenaline crashed like waves as the ambulance ferried them back to Mount Sinai, the irony bitter on Alex's tongue. Jordan's wound was superficial, a shallow slice needing stitches, but the attack screamed escalation, a warning from shadows that coveted Kent's secrets. In the ER bay, Alex worked with mechanical precision, numbing the gash, suturing neat and tight, his touch lingering longer than protocol allowed. Jordan watched him, green eyes soft with something perilously close to awe. You're a force, he murmured, flexing his bandaged arm as Alex taped the dressing. My Omega warrior, the endearment wrapped warm, stirring purrs Alex hadn't felt in years, his body responding with a flush that heated his cheeks. Flattery won't get you more morphine, Alex quipped, but leaned in, brushing lips to Jordan's temple, a seal of intent. Mia hovered nearby, coordinating with security, her texts already pinging, cops on scene. Prints on knife, sloppy hit. The hospital's underbelly stirred, whispers of corporate espionage, packs circling like wolves over fresh kill. By morning, Jordan was discharged with a sling and strict orders, but Alex's shift dragged eternal. Mind fracture between charts and what-ifs. Lunch in the cafeteria, stale sandwich and lukewarm soup, brought Mia's interrogation. Spill the tea. Hail. That alpha's got you glowing like a heat-struck pup. But danger? Girl. That's a red flag parade. Alex poked at his food, guilt twisting. He's not the danger, he's the target. And yeah, it's terrifying. But walking away, that's dying inside. Slow. Mia's hand squeezed his. Beta solidarity a bomb. Just promise you'll let me vet him. No more blind leaps. Afternoon brought the chief's summons, a stern beta in wire rims. Office reeking of stale coffee and authority. Dr. Hail. This shooting ties to your patient's family. Conflict of interest. Alex's spine straightened. Voice level. Sir, my care's impartial. But if it compromises, the chief waved it off. Eyes shrewd. For now, recuse for his follow-ups. Focus on your rotations. Inhale, personal life's yours. But don't let it bleed into these halls. The warning landed. A gauntlet thrown. Alex nodded, exiting with resolve hardening. He'd shield Jordan, not surrender him. Evening found him at Jordan's hotel, a sleek midtown tower, all marble and discretion. Jordan answered the door in sweats. Sling askew. Vulnerability disarming. Missed you, he admitted, pulling Alex inside. The suite sprawled lavish, city views framing twinkling lights. A bottle of scotch sweating on the bar. They curled on the leather couch. Jordan's good arm anchoring Alex close. Sense blending in domestic harmony. Talk turned grave over amber pores. The hit last night? Not random, Jordan said. Jaw set. My father's pushing the hail, merger hard. Your flight embarrassed him. Rivals smell blood. Alex tensed. Omega protectiveness flaring. Then fight smart. No lone wolf bullshit. Jordan's chuckle rumbled. Lips grazing his ear. Bossy. I like it. Heat simmered. But restraint held. Stitches too fresh. Threats too near. Instead, they mapped plans. Alex looping in hospital security. Jordan fortifying with private detail. Vulnerability wove through. Confessions deepening bonds. Jordan's fear of fatherhood cycle. Alex's dread of heat's unraveling control. Midnight crept, and Alex stirred reluctant from Jordan's lap. Stay, Jordan whispered, eyes pleading. Temptation clawed, but wisdom won. Soon, when it's safe, the kiss goodbye lingered. Promise laden, as Alex slipped into the elevator, heart fuller yet heavier. Days blurred into a tense rhythm, shifts where Alex dodged Jordan's chart. Stolen lunches in hidden courtyards. Nights texting till dawn. Tension coiled. Scents marking each other in subtle claims. Jordan's cologne on Alex's collar. Alex's citrus lingering on Jordan's skin. Romance bloomed fragile. Picnics in Central Park. Hands laced under checkered blankets. Slow dances in Jordan's suite to vinyl jazz. Bodies swaying to unspoken vows. But cracks spiderwebbed. A late-night call from Alex's mother. Darling, reconsider. Jordan's pulling strings, its destiny. Venom laced the silk. She knew of the attack. Twisting it to her narrative. Alex hung up, fury simmering, and saw Jordan, finding him pacing. Phone clutched like a lifeline. She's right, Jordan said, voice strained. This merger, it's poison. Walk away with me. Canada, Europe, anywhere but this cage. The plea gutted. Alpha desperation raw. Alex cupped his face, thumbs tracing stubble. Running's not us. We face it together. Expose the threats. Dismantle the games. Alliance forged in that moment. Plans sharpened. Jordan leaking docs to trusted allies. Alex consulting ethics boards on corporate meddling. Intimacy deepened. First heat since reunion cresting gentle. Jordan's touch reverent. Nodding them in waves of release and tears. Mine, Jordan growled, marking neck with teeth. And Alex arched, claiming back, always. Climax brewed in shadows. A tip from Mia. Rival Alpha spotted near the hospital, ignited pursuit. Jordan's team cornered him in an alley, but the bastard fought dirty. Gun barking. Chaos, bullets ricocheting. Alex arriving post-shift to sirens and blood. He found Jordan pinned, knife to throat. An instinct overrode, lunging, tackling the attacker with a fire extinguisher swing. Crack, skull met metal, and the man slumped. Jordan surged up, enveloping Alex. Alpha rage yielding to fierce pride. My hero, he breathed, lips crashing in victory's fire. Cops swarmed, arrests chaining the web, enforcers, moles. The rival pack's head crumbling under evidence. In the aftermath, dawn gilded the skyline as they sat on the precinct steps, bruised but unbroken. Alex's hand in Jordan's. Rings exchanged in a quiet ceremony weeks later. No cathedrals. Just vows under Brooklyn Bridge. Witnesses Mia and Jordan's sister. Families fractured but mended slow. Mergers dissolved in scandals light, leaving space for truths. Years on, in their brownstone haven, Alex balanced charts and consults. Jordan steered ethical ventures, pharma reformed. Packs evolving. Children came, adopted betas with their laughter echoing halls, and love. Once fled, rooted deep. In quiet nights, Jordan's arms around him. Alex whispered, "We made it." And Jordan's reply, "Eternal, we always would have."